everyone. Welcome back to Storytime. Today I have a story about a little girl. Abuela's Weave by Omar S. Castaneda. Illustrated by Enrique O. Sanchez. Abuela's Weave. Abuela's Weave. What do you think the story's about? What do you think the story's about? Pull back hard, said Abuela. Look at that. She has a big loom. And they are weaving. They are lacing the threads together and then pulling it tight to make some fabric. Make it jolt so the threads stay close, like family. Yes, Abuela. Esperanza thrust the bolt through the opened weave and pulled the bar down with all her might. You see that? Next to her, Esperanza's grandmother, her Abuela. She also kneeled in front of a backstrap loom. Both looms were tied to the same tree in the middle of the family compound. So they had all these buildings that they shared, and they were right in the middle of the compound. Tied to the tree, they were using their looms. Esperanza's mother fed the chickens and pigs behind the main thatch, while her father was off with her brothers in the field of corn, beans, and coffee. Do you see it on their compound? They have fields where they're growing things. They have animals. You're learning, Abuela said. Esperanza looked at her grandmother out of the corner of her eye. She knew that Abuela was nervous about the market. Her mother said that the hupales and tapestries, so the hupales, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's a short shirt or maybe a long dress that they make and decorate, kind of like what she's wearing. And they are going to bring it to market. Abuela, her mother said that the tapestries Abuela made could pull the wonder right out of people. But these days, more and more goods were made by machines. Esperanza worried that people would tease Abuela about her birthmark, as some kids had once done. They had started a rumor that she was a witch, and now many people were frightened to buy things from her. Do you see the birthmark on her face? Yeah, she was born with a mark. Her skin is just a different color there, but some people called her a witch and they wouldn't buy her things. How do you think she felt? Wow. Daydreaming again? Abuela asked. She's awake. She's thinking pleasant thoughts. Just thinking, wondering. Well, the old woman said gruffly, get busy because there are too few days left. You still have a lot of work to do, and there will be many other people selling the same things that we have. Don't worry, Abuela. I will be busy until we leave. And she was. Esperanza and her grandmother worked early in the morning, even before the sun rose, to well past sunset, when the moon rose and the compound fire gave everything the rich smell of pine. They showed no one their work, not even Esperanza's mother, because it was a special thing that they wove. They wanted to wait for the fiesta of Pueblos in Guate before they revealed it. So they're kind of doing it in secret, huh? Soon the day arrived. Bright with sun, the leaves glistened from the previous night's rain. It seemed like a good omen for Esperanza and her grandmother going to market on that day, huh? The sun was glistening. Abuela appeared disguised as a woman in mourning. Oh, do you see her? She changed her appearance, huh? She's in disguise. She was dressed in black. She wrapped a long black shawl around her shoulders and across her face, so that only her eyes appeared to the world. Esperanza, however, wore her favorite hupil. It was a white blouse with red, blue, and green threads in the rectangular collar. Under that, the colors bleed into silver and blue, and hidden within the front intricate designs of the blouse were tiny quetzals flying freely in the threads the way they once flew in the green forests of Guatemala. You see that? They sewed it right into there. It was woven. She carried on her head a large straw basket full of her tablecloths, skirts, and the special tapestry. That special thick fabric that they wove with their loom. Esperanza walked steadily down the dirt avenue of Santa Cruz to get to the highway where the Guate bus could pick them up. Abuela walked several paces behind. She insisted they pretend that they did not know each other. Do you see her? She's walking way back there in disguise. This way, if my birthmark frightens customers, they will still buy from you, Abuela said. So Abuela was very worried. She was very worried that they weren't going to sell anything, huh? Was Esperanza worried? When the bus came, Abuela did not even help lift the heavy basket to the boys who strapped bags onto the roof of the bus. Inside, they sat seats apart, as if they were strangers, people living in different villages, people with no ancestors in common, just like they were strangers. When they arrived, look at, there they are. The noise in the city was deafening. Ooh, it was very loud. Large buses roared towards the narrow streets, emitting clouds of black fumes. Horns blasted and people hurried roughly down the sidewalks. Esperanza wanted more than anything to get off the Sexta Avenida, where people jammed the walkways and hawkers yelled from their shops, or from the hundreds of carts blocking the sidewalks and streets. She felt trapped. Now she's starting to get a little bit anxious, huh? A little bit worried. The big city and the market. Her lungs ached from the automobile and bus fumes, and her ears rang with the sounds of screaming, brakes, horns, and shouting, whistles, and policemen. Esperanza walked quickly, the baskets steady on her head, her mind trying to focus away from the commotion and onto the stalls set up for the fiesta. The fiesta in the Parque Central. Having a fiesta in the park. That's where she's bringing her tapestries. She walked furiously, zigging, zagging to get down the avenue, where the noise was less, when she suddenly stopped to see if Abuela was still following her. She looked for a familiar face among the bobbling heads, in the baskets, the helmets, and the hats. She wanted to catch just a small glimpse of her grandmother, like a blackbird hopping from branch to branch in the forest of people. But she couldn't find her. Esperanza continued to the market, hoping Abuela would eventually find her there among the other merchants. I wonder where Grandma went. You see her? I see her over there. The stalls were already filled when Esperanza arrived. Old men and women nearby shooed her away or ignored her when she asked for help. Might be a little bit scary, huh? She's new to the market, doesn't know what to do, and nobody wants to help her. At last, all she could do was set her basket between the narrow slats of two stalls. On one side, a family from Antigua sold pottery. Reproductions of Mayan crafts and clothing loomed in one of the many factories. The woman on the other side sold long bolts of cloth, musical instruments, and decorative bags. The bags all had zippers machined in the capital and long handles of colorful plastic. Everything was beautiful, Esperanza thought. She thought that maybe no one would buy anything from her. She and her grandmother would return to Santa Cruz with no money. The long hours wasted, and the family might be disappointed. So now she's getting worried that they're not going to sell anything at the market. Esperanza sadly took out her wares to hang them one by one on long splinters in the slat wood on either side. She felt terribly alone. Even her poor Abuelita was nowhere to be seen. But there she started to hang up. She started to hang up her shirts and tapestries in the market. Look, it looks like people are looking. The people slowly noticed. They pointed at the elaborate weaving. Tourists and Guatemalans alike drew closer to her tiny place and looked up with wonder at the beautiful work in front of them. They did. They noticed her beautiful work that she made with that loom, huh? The large tapestry blossomed with images of Guatemala. Esperanza and Abuela had worked in intricate symbols of the country's history. They are heroines and heroes inspired by the glorious Popovo, the sacred book of the Maya. And in one corner, a beautiful quetzal seemed to watch over it, all from within a white cage. In Esperanza's hands, the tapestry colors shone as brightly as the sun over Guatemala's lake, Atilan. So she put lots of things from Guatemala. A lake, the white cage, the heroes inspired, all the ancestors, Guatemala. People turned from the stalls to stand before Esperanza's complex weaving. When she looked up, Esperanza saw Abuela with a smile across her birthmarked face. There's Abuela. It didn't take long for all their work to be sold that very day. The people were disappointed when they were all the art was all gone. But Esperanza promised to return with new things the following month. Look at how pleased she is. And on the way back to Santa Cruz, grandmother and granddaughter sat side by side. Esperanza's smooth and nimble fingers held tightly in her abuela's wrinkled old hands. She did it. She worked hard and made something beautiful. Have you ever done that? Have you ever worked hard and made something beautiful? Did you show someone? And how did that make you feel? Were you proud of it? I think Esperanza was very proud of her things, even though she was nervous and worried that they wouldn't sell. I think she still felt very proud of them. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.